Let's make a tater tot sausage breakfast casserole. I will link this recipe down below. Here are the ingredients we'll be using today. I'm going to be using these mini tater tots. I thought they looked so cute. And y'all know, cute is important sometimes. And then, we've got milk, the cheese, the spices we're going to need, and some eggs. I've got the sausage over here in this pan, and I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And whenever I do sausage, I like to spread it out as flat as I can and just let it get nice and brown on the bottom. I really like it when there's like a crust of, caramelized color on the back. Next, we're going to add these tater tots and the cheese into this large bowl. Aww. These really are so cute. I don't know if you can tell on screen how big that is. That's how big they are. All right, so we got the tater tots. Let's go ahead and add the cheese. We need 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar. We are using Mexican style cheese. So we'll do 1/2 cup. Another 1/2 cup. All right, there we go. 1/2 cup of mozzarella. I love a good mozzarella. While we wait on the sausage, I'm going to crack the eggs into a separate container. It's a perfect timing because I have 8 eggs left, and that's exactly what's called for in the recipe. In a separate bowl, we're going to whisk together the eggs. And next, we're going to add our seasoning. We're going to need a teaspoon of salt. I love to use Redmond's real salt. It's my favorite salt. Seems like a lot of salt, but we're going to go with it. All right, 1 teaspoon. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. ¼ teaspoon of garlic powder. ¼ teaspoon of onion powder. We also need 2 cups of milk, so I'm just going to pour it all the way up to that 4-cup line. That'll be about 2 cups. Okay. And I'm just going to whisk this together. The sausage is browned and broken up into little pieces, and I'm about to add it into this bowl with the tater tots and the cheese. Next, we're going to add the cheese mixture right on top. And this will settle all the way down to the bottom. It'll spread out. Okay. That looks so good. At this point, we could cover and refrigerate until we're ready to bake it, but I'm going to go ahead and bake it now. We're going to bake it at 350 uncovered for 60 to 70 minutes or until the eggs are fully cooked. The next recipe we're working on today is the cheesy baked tortellini casserole with meat sauce. Again, I will link this down below, but I'm going to be using, this came in a 2-pack from Costco, so I'm using 1/2 of the 5 cheese tortellini. This is such good tortellini. It's our favorite. We're going to be using 1 package of ground beef, mozzarella cheese, a jar of sauce, cream cheese, and then it says seasonings to taste. So I'll probably add Italian seasoning as well as some salt and pepper. The first thing we need to do is cook the tortellini. So I'm going to bring some water up to a boil. I've got the meat browning as well, and for the seasonings, I decided yes for the Italian, and also I'm going to use this Kinder's cracked pepper Parmesan, which is also really good. And it's okay to be generous with your seasonings. I don't usually measure. I just kind of shake things on until it looks right. Isn't that right, Serena? Mm-hmm. Serena's in the back of the kitchen, sitting on the little couch. All right. Ooh, this smells good already. And the tater tot casserole, which is in the oven, also smells so good. That garlic and onion powder, it smells like hash browns. Next, I'm gonna plop in this block of cream cheese, and I'm just gonna get it melty. Then we'll add the pasta sauce. I thought about that it would be really good to use that boursin cheese. I've got some in the freezer. Let me show you. I think this would be really good to add in as well, but I already had the cream cheese that I needed to use up, and this is already in the freezer, so it'll stay good for a while yet. But maybe next time I'll use this. All right, we are hoping for the best here. I'm gonna get these tortellinis into this dish. This might fit just right. Next, we're gonna add this sauce. Smells incredible. I know this is gonna taste so good. Oh, you guys, this is so much sauce. Hopefully it's gonna sink down to the bottom a little bit. Okay, I know this is not ideal. I'm just doing the best I can here. Oh, I really have contemplated buying a second 9x13 dish, but I don't make that many casseroles all the time. It's gonna be fine. I mean, it's pushing the limit, but I think it's gonna be fine. Just kind of. I'm gonna let this sit here together anyway, so the sauce will have some time to get down into the bottom a little more. Because I gotta wait till the tater tot casserole comes out of the oven to put this in anyway. So I think it's gonna be just fine. Okay, all right, I'm gonna let that settle. This smells incredible, friends. It smells so good. So this has sat for a few minutes and the tater tot casserole is still in the oven. It's almost done. So I'm gonna go ahead and top this one with mozzarella cheese. This is 1 cup to 2 cups of cheese, but I'm just gonna put on here what's gonna fit according to this container. Y'all, this is gonna be so good. Robbie is already so excited. He came in, y'all know his favorite meal is pasta with meat sauce. And he was so excited to see this ready to go in the oven. All right, so this is gonna get melty. It says to place this on the center rack and bake for about 20 minutes. And then for the last 2 or 3 minutes, switch it to the broiler so the cheese can get nice and melty. So I hope this doesn't overflow. Wish me luck. This tater tot casserole just came out of the oven. Let's see if you can hear it. It looks so good, smells really good. I'm excited about that one. I also went ahead and popped in the Tortellini Bake. And so about 20 minutes, it'll be ready to come out. Here's that Tortellini Bake. And I didn't put it under the broiler because I actually have to run out the door, but looks so good and smells amazing. I know it's gonna taste good too. I would say this is a successful day in the kitchen. It's that time of day again where everyone's asking what's for dinner, and I didn't plan anything, you guys. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I have some home canned chicken. We call this ugly chicken because it just isn't really pretty. It's kind of ugly. So I have 2 pints of ugly chicken. I've got 1 store-bought Alfredo, and I've got a couple packs of spaghetti. Now I do have a second Alfredo on standby because I always forget how much sauce is appropriate for this dish. But I'm making ugly chicken Alfredo. It's one of our favorites that's like easy and quick to just throw together. Of course, you can always use like rotisserie chicken or grilled chicken or whatever kind of chicken that you like. This is just what I have on hand that's super convenient. This is my favorite version of fast food because I can make it fast and I make it at home. I've already got the pot of water heating up. It's coming to a boil slowly but surely. And then I'm going to, cook the noodles then. And then in a separate pan, I will heat up the chicken and the sauce. And at that time, I'll decide whether we need 2 sauces or not. To go alongside the chicken Alfredo, I'm gonna just prepare this steam in a bag broccoli florets from Members Mark at Sam's Club. All right, here we go. I've got, I like to open these jars with a butter knife. I've seen those jar opener tools. I really would like to get one. They are supposed to open your lids really easily. And sometimes it can be a struggle to get these things open. Come on, you. And my experience with using home canned chicken, oh my gosh, this one is really not wanting to budge. My experience with using home canned chicken is that the chicken tends to be kind of dry. So even though like all that broth in there, some people might discard of it, but I like to keep it and use it with whatever dish I'm using because I feel like the chicken needs it. Not necessarily needs it, but it does better with it, we'll say. Anyway, I always stick my knife down in there and kind of cut it up a little bit. Plus it helps it come out of the jar a little easier. Yeah, so I just kind of cut it up a little bit. All right. Next. Serena writes my labels for me. She's so helpful because usually by the time when the time comes to write the labels, I'm like over it and tired, and usually there's a bunch of them to label. So she helps me at least. I mean, I'll do it obviously, but she is so gracious to be helpful to her mama. Also, I do prefer to can protein, like, meats and beans even, in the wide mouth jars. This one is just like a regular mouth jar. Food tends to come out of the wide mouth jars easier. So I like to, typically I will keep the regular mouth jars for things like broth or jam or something like that, which I don't really do a whole lot of jam because we don't eat a lot of jam. So I've got my pan here heating up, like medium low, and I'm just going to add this chicken right in so it can start heating up. And then I'll just wash these jars put these jars in the dishwasher so I can use them again another day. Typically when I can food, I like to can ingredients, not like meals or specific things are gonna have to be used in a specific way. So when I can my chicken, I just simply put chicken and salt in a jar. I can it like that. It makes its own broth and it's always delicious. Then that way when it comes out, it's just simply chicken. I can season it according to the dish that I'm using it for. So today, I know it's already got a little bit of salt in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of Italian seasoning and if I had some herbs de Provence, I would put that in here too, but I don't, so that's okay. We'll just sprinkle in some Italian. Oh, and maybe a little bit of garlic. We'll add some garlic powder as well. Just a little bit, because I know the Alfredo sauce will have its own seasoning as well. So just a little bit of that. Here's a look at what the chicken looks like with, seasoning in there. It's just regular old canned chicken. It just looks ugly in the jar because you can see through, the glass jar, but it's actually really tasty. I just added 1 jar of the Alfredo sauce, and I think that's all I'm gonna do. I think I'm also gonna only cook 1 package of the spaghetti for tonight, and then I might do another one so that we can have leftovers, but I don't want the ratio to be imbalanced for dinner tonight. I wanna make sure we get enough protein and everyone can go to bed full with happy tummies. I kind of feel like I might want to do like another jar of chicken. I'm not sure. I'm going to think about it and I'll let you know what I decide. I went ahead and microwaved the broccoli, and instead of adding another jar of chicken, I'm just going to add the broccoli right in. And I didn't, you know, these are broccoli florets. I'm not going to cut them smaller or anything because some of the pieces are small, but Serena doesn't love broccoli, and so I want to leave it big enough that she can pick out the broccoli. I think that looks like a pretty darn good consistency of chicken with sauce and, you know, with that broccoli added. And I didn't season the broccoli. I just microwaved it and drained it, you know, from the little bit of liquid that was in the bag. And there we go. Well, everything looks real good. Just going to serve up some of this pasta. I'm going to go ahead and make Robbie's plate. Look how hot that pasta is. Oh my gosh. Okay. Gonna put on some Alfredo. All right, here's our ugly chicken Alfredo with broccoli. And it's gonna be delicious, regardless of the name. For dinner tonight, we're planning on making these salmon fillets. This is from Orca Bay Foods. These have been in the freezer, and we're just doing the thawing method where you thaw it in cold water. So these are thawing out nicely. Out here in our garage freezer, we have these stir-fry vegetable blend. This is from Costco. So I'm gonna take these inside and we're gonna have these alongside our salmon. I also was thinking about doing like a baked potato, but then I had this idea. A couple of videos ago, I talked about Lipton rice, and I think I might try to recreate that. It's not going to be the same as from when I was a kid, but I think I can get close enough. So anyway, I think I'm going to attempt that for tonight too. So we'll have salmon, rice, and then these stir-fry vegetables. So here's the deal. This is a recipe that my mom gave to me, you know, when I became an adult, moved out on my own. I wanted to know how to make her Lipton rice. And the issue is that sometime along the way, Lipton changed their recipe, their formula for their recipe, I guess. And so here, where it says to dilute the bouillon from the soup package, at this time, the bouillon would come out of the package in like a clump, and now it's just all in one powder. So I'm gonna see if I can sift the noodles from the bouillon and see if we can still make the same recipe. Also, I'm gonna double this recipe because that's normally what I do. Brandon's over here working on the salmon. What are you gonna do with this salmon today, babe?
Japanese barbecues.
We're gonna make Japanese barbecue with the seasoning and the sauce, the glaze?
Both, yep.
That's gonna be real good. And we'll do them in the oven?
Yes.
Cool.
Bake them.
In this box, 2 of these envelopes came in the box. So I'm gonna open them and see if I can sift the noodles from the bouillon. I don't know if this is gonna work, y'all. Yeah, so Brandon, it used to be that all this bouillon powder would come out in one clump in the recipe. And now it's like powdery. So they changed their formula. Oh gosh. Yeah, that would take forever. So, I'm still gonna try to do it. It's just gonna be different. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna measure out 2 cups of rice, and I'm just using the white basmati rice.
Japanese barbecue seasoning.
All right.
Then I'm gonna drizzle some of that to cooking glaze. Japanese barbecue. So good.
Oh, I cannot wait. Here I've got 4 tablespoons of butter melting on the stovetop. And okay, so my family's home and you might hear them in the background, but it is what it is. This is a real kitchen. And I'm gonna add these 2 cups of basmati rice. And let me get a wooden spoon. We're just gonna stir this till the rice gets coated. And we're gonna let the rice kind of toast a little bit in that butter. All right, over here in this bowl, I have the noodles from the Lipton soup and the bouillon, and I'm just gonna add in the 4 cups of water just to get that bouillon diluted. So in the original recipe, these noodles would have gone in with the rice to get toasty as well. But like I said, you can't do that anymore. So you know what? I think this is probably still going to be really, really good. I don't know that we'll be able to taste much difference, but we'll see. I'm excited. So the rice is beginning to brown a little bit. I'm just keeping it moving because I don't want it to get burnt. And it's just very barely just getting toasted. Just a few little pieces of rice are getting brown. I'm gonna keep working this. And I don't know if it would make a difference, but I've never done this with basmati rice before. We used to just always buy like long grain white rice. So I don't know how different that, I don't know how much of a difference that makes. All right, so we've got some pretty good toasty going on here, some pretty good toasty action. I'm gonna go ahead and add the noodles and the bouillon. We're gonna bring it up to a boil and then we're gonna cover and simmer for 20 minutes. All right, from here we're gonna turn this down to simmer. We're gonna pop the lid on and set a timer for 20 minutes. To prepare the vegetables, what I'm gonna do is just put a little drop of this extra virgin olive oil into this here frying pan. We're gonna turn it up to medium. And then when the pan is hot, we'll add in our vegetables. And y'all, these vegetables, we get them from Costco and they cook up so perfectly. They're not soggy, they're just right. The perfect amount of like crisp and freshness and deliciousness. So I always like to keep these on hand for an easy vegetable side. Also, oh, Brandon. What is that?
Prosecco.
Oh, my Prosecco. On a side note, can we take a moment and appreciate this cutie patootie right here? This is my little nephew dog. His name is Winston. He lives in New York and he is so cute. And he sent us this Valentine's card this year. Winston. Cutie. Pouring a little bit of Prosecco, some rosé. And these champagne flutes. Y'all, there's a story here too. We were gifted these after Serena was born. And they are, there are only champagne flutes, but I love them so much. So we use them anytime we're sipping on some champagne. We're having salmon, vegetables, and rice. Don't touch it, it's raw. You want to say hi to the channel?
I'm a little chocolate bar.
You're a chocolate bar. And I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. So I turned the burner off of the vegetables. I'm just going to pop this lid on so they can just stay warm. They're done cooking, so we're just going to wait on the We're still waiting on the fish. It's got a few more minutes left to go. And the rice is done. I gotta tell you, it does look a little different because those noodles are not toasted, but it smells very much the same. Have any of y'all had this before, Lipton rice, like according to this recipe here? I'll be sure to screenshot it. Sometimes there's just that recipe from your childhood that just brings you right back. And this one, I mean, my mom didn't cook it like all the time, but she cooked it often enough that it's like a core memory from my childhood food, you know what I mean? So anyway, I hope that this will be delicious, but I will definitely let you know. Looking good. Smells real good too. The rice is good.
Mm-hmm. The rice is good too.
Let me see about this salmon.
Look at it before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing I've ever had.
That right there, that's real good. Real good.
It is really good.
That Japanese salmon.
It's real good.
Put this in your lap.
It's real good.
It is very tasty. I hope this What's for Dinner brought you some inspiration. Thank you so much for adding a dash of gratitude to your day. I truly appreciate you being here. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.